Welcome to Framework Fortune. It is time for the new series, the Traders Saloon, where we're gonna just hang out, talk about stocks, press releases, all that different things, whatever you want to talk about. This is gonna be a lot more of a laid-back stream than the normal live day trading stream. And I was gonna call it the Traders Lounge, but that name is already taken, so Saloon is the best I could come up with. Not anybody around yet. We'll let everybody get in here. But looking back at the trade I took this morning on solo, before we get into all the other stuff, you can see I took a loss on this. My stop loss was hit. I had my stop loss right under the bottom of this channel, and it dipped down and stopped me out right through here. So I did end up taking a loss on it, but it did rebound and it's back in this channel. So possibly tomorrow solo could be a interesting pick to watch to see what it does, if it pops out of this channel or not. Could stay in this channel for a few days, for a few weeks, who knows. But it's worth keeping an eye on, I think. But yeah, solo took a loss on that one today. Let's look at the top 10% gainers, see what all has happened today. Nothing there that really did anything. It works pretty much sold off the rest of the day. This is a larger cap stock. Actually got a really nice run today, 105 up to 151. Let's see what kind of PR did this have. They collaborated with Instagram. Okay, well that makes sense. Nothing really there. So it looks like CYRX went from 41 to 56. Cryoport. Interesting. Stock getting a nice rip so far. I'm not up anything today. I took a small loss on solo, and that was the only trade I took today. And now I only trade in the morning. So now I'm just taking a look at some of these top gainers for the day, see if anything else happened during the market, see if there's anything possible to put on the watch list for tomorrow. And that's pretty much it. I don't see anything else that happened, so it is what it is. So I'm going to get into these 5G stocks. If you were in the live stream this morning, I said I was going to put together this 5G stock watch list. So far we got CCI, Qualcomm, Corning, Skyworks, and then let's see, I think Eric was the other one. Whoops. Yeah, Ericsson. Yeah, they're working with UNICEF. I'm going to look into them a little bit. And then Applied Materials, I think it's AMT. No, American Tower, but that is another possible 5G. It's probably the most expensive of the 5G options, but it is another one, so let's just throw it on there. And then see, so AMT here, I'll close this down so we can see this watch list. Look at this watch list here. What is Applied Materials? There it is. AMAT, that's what it is. Okay, AMT. Let's put this on a max chart so we can take a good look and see when we start comparing these and seeing which ones we want to take off. Trying to think of what else. Some other 5G stocks. If you guys have any 5G stocks that I don't have on this list, feel free to comment them and I'll add them to it. I'm really blanking here on these other. Let's see. So we're gonna, whoops. What did I do? Oh, here we go. Okay, so should be a way. I don't know if I can get specifically. I don't know if I can specifically scan for 5G stocks, but I'm gonna try. Let's see, category. Oh no, industry. That's what I want. Industry. I don't know if it'll be. It may be some. Whoops. Let's go with communication services. What's up, Doc Trader? How you doing? Their stock. Let's go with volume. Let's go with a minimum volume of 500,000. Let's see how many stocks that gives us. 190. Probably look at that. What's up, Daniel B? Are you grilling out, buddy? Got a little grill emoji there. So, Airborne Wireless Network. What is this? It's under, okay, let's do a price filter too, because this, I don't want any stocks that are under $1. So let's go, yeah, let's go with just $1 for the minimum. There we go. So what do we got? 127 now. Okay. Why is it still showing these? Maybe I gotta put a, let's try that. I usually don't, but I decided to start this new series where I'm going to try to do it a couple times a week. Where after the day trading day is over, at some point in the evening, like around this time, and where I'm just going to talk about a bunch of different things. But right now, I'm trying to put together this 5G watch list of stocks. And that's what I'm scanning right now, is I'm trying to find some, because I'm blanking out. I've got, let's see what we got here. 7 of them. I've got 7 of them on here. And I'm trying to remember the other ones. Verizon, that's one. Okay. So that's why I'm doing this scan, is to try to remember possible 5G stocks that might get a big boost from 5G slowly rolling out. But yeah, we're gonna do this 5G list, and then I'm gonna talk about, at one point I'm gonna talk about investing in precious metals. And I have an article I've got pulled up. We'll dive into that, talking about what the Fed is supposed to be coming out with tomorrow with their announcement. And if they're coming out with what I think they are going to and what this article says, then it might not be a bad idea to invest in precious metals. But we'll get there in a little bit. First, let's get through this 5G thing, because I want to try to, I got the top 5 5G video, but I didn't have my list over here. I either deleted it or something. I don't know what happened. T-Mobile, and I'll go through these and compare these and kind of give my thoughts on them, but we're not going to spend a ton of time on the 5G. I don't think Dish Network would be a good one. And then if there's anything you guys want me to go over or talk about, you just let me know, and we can go over some stuff as well. Alright, so let's just go with that. I feel like I'm missing some, but I can't remember. So, Applied Materials, they make a lot of the materials that are in the equipment that is going to be used for 5G. You can see this is the max daily chart. So the stock's been around since 2002. And it just kind of went sideways for a long time, but in the last 4 years with 4G coming out and now 5G starting to come out, you can see it's been on this nice strong uptrend. Pays a very, very nice dividend. Dividend has been constantly growing. So this is definitely one that I like, and I think this was in my top 5. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. American Tower is a REIT. If you don't know what REITs are, it's a real estate investment trust. And basically REITs do nothing but invest in real estate and pay everybody dividends, all the shareholders dividends, because they're required by law to pay out either 80 or 90% of their profits to their shareholders. So you get pretty nice dividends on these stocks. American Tower owns most of the cell towers, I think, in America. That's why this price is so high. And 5G, they'll definitely get a boost off of, because all the 5G companies will have to rent out their towers. It's a little more higher price than I would like, but it's not a bad one. It'd definitely be a decent investment, and you can see it's been on an uptrend forever. And if you hear any weird noises, my dog is in the room, so it's just him. This is Crown Castle, CCI. This is another REIT, and they own cell towers as well. So they'll be getting a boost from 5G. You can see it's been on a pretty nice uptrend for pretty much the past 15, 20 years. Just started paying a dividend back in, what is that, 2014 it looks like. And you can see it started out at 35 cents, and their dividend is all the way up to $1.20. So decent dividend, and it looks like this is a quarterly dividend as well. So pretty good little dividend yield on this stock. And then Ericsson. Ericsson is one that I've seen a lot of people say that is a decent 5G pick. To me, I'm iffy on this one. What's up, One Life? It's just, I don't see it being. Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze there. I think I got it. It's not one that I really would keep a big eye on. It's on a downtrend. Actually, it's broke this downtrend now. I think when let's see, when did it break the downtrend? Yeah, so this just recently broke the downtrend. When I did the 5G video, I think it was still in this downtrend. So there is something there maybe to look at. It's going to run into a lot of resistance. The big thing I don't like about it is the inconsistency in dividend payments. And if you look back, they had a couple here. There's this big gap right here, and then before another one was, then there's a huge gap of no dividend payments for a good, I don't know how many years. And then they just started paying them again in 2017. So that inconsistency makes me nervous. I don't like dividend stocks that don't pay consistent dividends. Like, I don't want to see random money signs when I'm looking at these dividends. I want them to look like Applied Materials, where you got lots and lots and lots of dividend payments. And I also want to see those dividend payments growing. So Eric is not one. I feel like there's a lot of risk involved with that one. And it could get a 5G jump. But Corning, this is the one. Corning makes the materials into fiber optic cables or something like that. You can see very nice dividend. Started back here in 2007, 5 cents. Been consistently growing all the way up to 22 cents. So you do have a consistent dividend there, and it is on a pretty decent uptrend. Pretty much since it came out. Oh, okay. Whoops. Maybe I'm wrong here. I'm not looking at the whole picture. Okay, this Corning's been around since '85, but in the past 20 years, it's been on a nice, consistent uptrend. So that's a pretty good thing there. So Corning's not a bad 5G stock. Definitely be one to keep on watch. Qualcomm, see there, nice consistent dividend payments. Qualcomm hitting new highs, it looks like the highest it's ever been. So at this point, if you haven't got in Qualcomm yet, you kind of missed the boat. I probably wouldn't want to touch it right now until it has like a pullback, maybe to 100 or something like that. But you can see nice consistent uptrend. Only problem is it is way off of this uptrend. All the way up here at 117, bottom of this trend line is down at 52. So it is a decent, actually it's probably a good 5G stock to invest in, but just buying it right now, you're kind of buying at the top. So one of those ones you got to wait on. And Skyworks, which is my favorite of the possible 5G stocks. You see it's been on a pretty steep uptrend and continued to grow, which they just have explosive growth. Because you look at these dividend payments, started in 2014, 11 cents back here, and now we're up to 50 cents. And I think they pay quarterly. Let's see. 520. Yeah, they pay quarterly. So you're getting about, what is that, $2? $2 a dividend payment a year, something around there. So that's not a bad one. T-Mobile, here's my opinion on the 5G stocks that are cell phone companies like T-Mobile and Verizon. And you can see T-Mobile's gotten a boost. Verizon's kind of all over the place, but it has been going up. Pretty consistent dividend payment on Verizon. If I was going to choose a mobile phone company or service company like this, it would probably be Verizon. But 5G, the things I'm more interested in are the REITs, because that's real estate, and companies like Corning and Applied Materials that are the materials that are going to be used in creating all the 5G stuff. Like, they're going to get a lot of money because they're going to be selling all that stuff, all those products to all these different 5G companies, to make the 5G chips and all that different stuff and the fiber optics. And the real estate, it's real estate, so it's hard to go wrong there. But if Verizon, Verizon's pretty much like a brand. And if T-Mobile somehow gets a better cell phone or better 5G or something like that, T-Mobile could pull ahead, or Verizon, or LG. There's a bunch of different phone companies and phone service companies. So there's a lot of competition there. And while one could be good, I wouldn't want to just invest in one solely because of 5G. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be Verizon, because it does pay a nice consistent dividend, where T-Mobile doesn't even pay any dividends. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on the 5G. You guys have any 5G stocks that I don't have on my list that you'd like me to check out? Go ahead and let me know. But let's start talking about these precious metals and this article. We'll see here coming out tomorrow, or the article's out today. It was released this evening or this afternoon, but the inflation talk and why we're going to talk about precious metals. So if you look down here, I was barking. All right, so okay. So you can see, for decades, the Federal Reserve made clear its readiness to raise interest rates at earliest signs of creeping inflation. So they try to manipulate inflation by raising rates. But they've changed their stance. That's kind of a big thing when the Fed changes their stance on how they manipulate currency and inflation and all that. So they're talking about not raising rates. And if you look down here, the widespread expectation is the Fed is poised to adopt a more flexible policy that would allow inflation to overshoot its 2% annual target. I don't know about that. I feel like that's risky. Because if inflation gets out of control, then the US dollar becomes worthless or worth less than it is now, which if we look, let's check the US dollar value right now. And we'll see where it is compared to the euro. So yeah, right now the US dollar is worth 0.84 of a euro. So you can see, look at this max chart of the US dollar, it's like started rebounding and now it's kind of dipping, and now with this information tomorrow, if inflation gets out of control, this value could drop quite a bit. So if you know anything about currency and inflation and all that, you know that when currencies drop in price, gold and other precious metals usually skyrocket, because if you're an investor, you usually don't just have your cash sitting around. But if your cash is just sitting around and inflation rates keep going up and up and up, and the value of your cash is going down and down and down, your cash is sitting there and you're losing money. So what I'm thinking is we might see a jump in gold, which gold has moved up since the pandemic and everything else going on, because gold always goes up when there's uncertainty in the markets. But I think people are going to start investing their cash after this announcement tomorrow. Like if this is what they're going to be announcing, and it could be a couple of days of sketchiness. Like I don't know what to expect tomorrow in the market, but we saw today and yesterday where the small cap world was pretty slow. There's a few large caps and mid caps here, there, ripping and running. We'll pop back to Thinkorswim here and look at the market watch. And you can see it's still mixed. It's been a pretty mixed week. So there's uncertainty in the market right now. And I would say a lot of that is due to Jerome Powell's his new idea to let inflation increase. I already bought some gold, some silver, and a little bit of platinum last night because I didn't have any of that. And just in case the US dollar does decrease in value, inflation does get out of hand, there could be a little while there where your cash might not be worth anything. So just in case, I would like to have a little bit of gold, silver, and platinum in case I need it for, something. It's one of those things where it's a worst case scenario, but even so, it might not get as bad as I would expect, because if anybody follows Peter Schiff called the 2008 housing market crash and the market crash and economy crash. He's been calling again for another crash. And of course, the crash has already kind of happened with the pandemic. But what you got to keep in mind with people like Peter Schiff, he owns a gold buying, selling, and holding company. So of course, he's going to tell you and warn you for the doomy gloomy, it's the end of the world apocalypse stuff, because the more he does that, even if he is somewhat right that the market may crash, he's going to tell you it's going to be the worst case scenario and that you need to put all your money in gold and precious metals. On the other hand, I'm just a guy. I'm not some guy with a big fancy gold company, and I don't see a reason to put all your money in precious metals. But putting a little bit in precious metals is not a bad idea. And it is kind of a way to hedge your portfolio, because if the market crashes, those precious metals usually jump up. Yeah, I can share my 5G list. I'll pop back there real quick. So if you can see it right there, I don't know if you can see it or not. Oh, you might not be able to see it. I've got it. I see it. I've got it off to the side. But here, I'll just write it out for you real quick. But yeah, precious metals is a good way to hedge. And like I said, me personally, I bought a few bars of a couple of things just to have a little bit. Like, I don't have a ton. I didn't buy like any, 20, 40 ounce kilos of gold or anything like that. I just bought a little bit. Now, this is the first time I've ordered off of this site. And I'll show you guys the site real quick. This is the site I ordered off of. They got pretty solid reviews all the way through. You check the bottom, they got the Better Business Bureau, all these different places, Apple Store, Google Play. They look pretty legit. They, I'm pretty sure they guarantee everything. So we'll see. But a lot of people don't realize that you can buy gold and silver and all these things online, and you don't have to, like, this coin's $2,000. But if you look right here, you can get a gram of gold, a gold bar, for $83. And the more you actually buy, the better discount you get. But this site's got all kinds of stuff. You got gold, silver. Get out of here. You can see silver, and silver is definitely cheaper than gold. If you see at the top, you got gold's currently right now at $19.61 an ounce. Silver's at $27 an ounce. Silver's been dropping. Platinum's at $946 an ounce. But all these things are used in multiple things in our society, so they always have value no matter what. It could drop, that's one thing you have to realize, is that it could drop. Let's look at the gold price chart. Here we go. Let's see. So 20-year. So here's the 20-year, and you see gold the past 20 years has went up. So gold always increases in value. It is pretty high right now. If it dips, then I would probably pick some more up. But with this inflation thing happening, I have a feeling that it's going to probably go up even higher. So I don't want to, not have any gold and inflation get out of control. Which I'm not saying that it is going to happen, that if they let inflation rates rise to 2% or more, that everything will go crazy. But I know a lot of investors that think like Peter Schiff will be investing in gold, which they are always investing in gold. But I just think it's a good idea just to hedge your portfolios of money with a little bit of precious metals. And you don't have to buy it to where they send it to if you don't want. There is gold stocks and all that. But like I said, if something bad happens, if the US dollar does go to zero, it's nice to kind of have the precious metals with you. So if you do need to go buy something somewhere, or you need to escape the country, you got a way to pay somebody to get on a plane. And you see silver kind of skyrocketed there in the first run of the market out of the housing crash. And it's come back down, and then it's been starting to go back up in 2020. And you see platinum's kind of up and down. It doesn't quite react quite as much as gold and silver does to markets. It's kind of more closer to the way silver reacts. You can see those charts are real similar. But you just kind of want to hedge. Gold always goes straight up. I'm sure if we looked at silver on a longer chart, but this chart only has a 20-year. I'm sure silver's constantly went up, possibly. Well, it might have dropped because there is more silver supplies. But something I read, I'm trying to remember where it was I saw it, and I'll bring it up and show you, but I read something that most of the governments stopped buying silver. So their silver reserves are not that high. They've been stocking up on gold and everything, but their silver reserves are not that high. So if something happened with one of these fiat currencies, like the US dollar or the euro, any fiat currency that does not have a gold standard backing or a silver or some type of precious metal backing. Fiat just means it's pretty much a nothing backed currency. So it's just the government's word on it, which is in a lot of cases means nothing. So if that happens, then they will have to start buying silver again until they get the whole currency situation figured out. So if that worst case scenario situation was to happen, there could be a nice spike in silver prices as well, along with gold. And actually, I would think silver might have better gains if that happens, because silver is pretty low. But yeah, you can check out all this stuff and check this website out. APMEX. They got silver, platinum, all that different stuff. They got it in coins and bars and jewelry. The only thing with jewelry is it's usually more expensive because you have the artisan in there. Same thing with coins. Like, to me, the best value is pretty much just to buy bars. Sometimes coins can be cheaper, but if you're a coin collector, you probably know about all that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on precious metals and whether you should invest in them or not. I think it's a good idea to invest in some. I wouldn't go gung-ho and go Peter Schiff crazy and buy tons and tons of tons. I don't think that's necessary, but I think it is a good idea just to get some. So that's that. So we'll give the stream about 30 more minutes. What's up, Dom? Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. How's it been going? So we'll use this last 30 minutes to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We went through the 5G, went through the precious metals. And if you just now joined here recently and you were in the live streams earlier, I did take a loss on Solo. Solo dipped below the bottom of that channel and hit my stop loss. It didn't drop below 3, but my stop loss was like 303. So it didn't work out. But you've been trying swing trading. How's that going for you? Swing trading is one of those things where it's, a little tricky. And then if you guys have any questions, any day trading questions, anything you don't understand with support and resistance, or any of that stuff, feel free to ask that while we're in here. Like I said, this stream is just a kind of laid back, relaxed stream, just talk about things. No bueno. You need your focus. What have you tried to swing? Are you swinging penny stocks or mid caps? Because with penny stocks, I think it's a little harder to swing those because they do get very, very volatile moves. I think probably one of the easiest ways to swing is stocks, kind of mid caps. Like you see NIO, which is an EV stock. But looking at it, yesterday, if you'd have seen this, you had this nice triangle. You possibly could have swung to see if it popped out of this triangle, and you actually could have made like $7 a share right there between swinging it from yesterday to today. Because it was just slowly climbing up to 9 there. You've been very good at turning a winning trade into a losing one. Well, let's figure that out. If you're turning winning trades into losing ones, then that sounds like you just need to lock out, before the stock starts turning around. So, let's just use NIO, for example. If you're looking for some type of pattern or something, say you're looking for this downtrend to crack, the downtrend cracks, you get in here. Of course, this one didn't drop, but it kept going. But say you hold it up to this point. Well, right here, after that downtrend breaks, you can remove it, but right here you can see this is a pivot point. The stock came up, hit right there, came back down, so you know that's going to be more resistance. So say you buy at the break of the downtrend and it's coming up, and you're like, I'm just going to hold through this, and then you hold through it and it ends up dropping on you. Lock in your profits back here. Like once you're up in profits, lock out some. Like lock out half maybe at a resistance line, or lock out all of it at a resistance line. And you can kind of make that decision based on the market conditions. Like the last 2 days since the Feds announced the inflation thing, the market's been kind of sketchy. Marijuana stocks. I like marijuana stocks, but I only like certain ones. There's a lot of competition in marijuana stocks, and there's also problems with federal legalization. A lot of these companies can't use banks, so they can't get financing. But there's always some guy who's a smart guy. And this is my favorite marijuana stock. IIPR, Innovative Industrial Properties. I have this in my portfolio. This is a REIT. So they don't sell any marijuana. But what they do is they go to the marijuana companies that are struggling, especially during COVID they did this, and said, hey, you need help with funding. We'll buy the land and the building that your marijuana operation is in, and then we'll rent it back out to you. But you'll have that money from the proceeds of us buying it, and then you just pay us rent. Seems like a pretty good idea for IIPR. So it gives the marijuana companies funding, gives IIPR more real estate for their portfolio, and as you can see, IIPR has had a nice, consistent growing dividend from 15 cents. I think it's quarterly, all the way up to $1.06 here in this last dividend payment. So it is a higher priced marijuana stock, but I really like their business model, and they don't have they don't have a lot of debt, and they have a ton of money, and they pay out nice dividends. So ones like this where it's not really in the actual selling of the buds, I think is a better investment. Now, and right now, I probably wouldn't get into IIPR at the moment because looks like it's kind of hitting this downtrend right here. And it's curling over a little bit. So it looks like it might pull back, and I'm kind of expecting the entire market to pull back with this news coming tomorrow from the Feds. So there might be a good opportunity to get in this back down near 100 or 90 or something like that later on. But right now it'd be kind of sketchy to get in. And then another one of my favorites, which this is an OTC stock, but Planet 13, and I have 2 videos on Planet 13. If you've not seen those, go check those out. But this is a Las Vegas dispensary, and it's not your normal dispensary. It's more like a tourist attraction. I actually personally went to Vegas and visited Planet 13, and I took video footage of the inside and took pictures of a lot of the setup, and that's in one of those videos, so you can go check that out and see what this is all about. But once you actually see this place, it's not like your normal mom and pop's dispensary. It's like a full-on tourist attraction, and I've been talking about this stock for a while now, and you can see now it's all the way up to $14.19. So this is definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on. If they're just regular pot companies that's just dispensaries, unless they have some type of unique business model, then I'm a little iffy on them because there's a lot of competition, and we've really seen it in Canada the most, where you see Aurora Cannabis, and all these cannabis stocks got a big rip, and that's what actually got me into stock market and day trading was pot stocks, and all of them got this big rip back through here. They all kind of look similar to this, especially the Canadian ones, but you can see Aurora's been on a downtrend. And Afra's the other one. Afra's been on a downtrend. So I think a lot of these are pretty sketchy at the moment. And the U.S. companies will be kind of sketchy as well as far as the actual bud growing. So I think you got to be creative right now until it's like fully legal across the board everywhere. And then we can see how the companies compete against each other. But until then, it's just too risky to me for certain ones. Yeah, they are gonna. That's the thing. A lot of them might be showing rising profits. Like you look at them, and they'll say, "Oh, this quarter we had 800% returns and stuff like that." But a lot of these companies are just starting out. So if you go from $0 to $800, that's a pretty big gain percentage-wise. So that's the thing you got to keep in mind is while their percentage-wise of their growth may be really high or seems to be high, you really got to dig in there and look at these companies at how much debt they're in and how much money they're actually making, how much revenue they're pulling in, how much profit they're actually keeping, and are they reinvesting that profit back into the operation to build bigger grow facilities so they can bring out more bud? Are they crossbreeding different things to try to come out with new buds? Are they working with different medical places or medical colleges or hospitals for new treatments? Different stuff like that. Like there's a lot of questions you really got to ask yourself because this is such a new industry. So if they don't have a unique thing like Planet 13 or like IIPR, then it's just sketchy to me. There's a lot that can still transpire before marijuana is actually legal because we have no idea when it's going to be. And not to get political, but it's not really been a talking point of this election, and with everything else going on, I don't think it's going to be a talking point of this election. I'd be surprised if it even gets brought up in the debates. So it's not something that I would be expecting out of this. So, but there is potential. The industry as a whole has a potential because it is a brand new industry. So there is potential there. You just got to look for the long-term potential if you're long-term investing. If you're swing trading, these pot stocks, you just kind of got to look for the ones where they might be starting an uptrend and then, probably swing them for a couple of days if the trend continues up. But if it doesn't, then you just want to get out of them. Let's see, I got a couple of U.S. pot stocks on this list. Cresco Labs is another OTC one. This one I've been keeping an eye on, but you can see on this chart, it's been on it's on this downtrend, and it just hit this downtrend, and now it's starting to curl over. It did just get a pop here. When did that happen? Oh, that happened right before market close. It got a little pop. That's only a 10-cent pop. That candle looked bigger. But if you're not really good with high risk type of plays, then pot stocks is probably not the area to be in because it's a new industry, so it's high speculation, high risk, possible high reward. But yeah, this is one I've been keeping an eye on. well, it is on a bit of a uptrend. So like Cresco Labs may be an interesting one, but it needs to come back down to this uptrend. You can kind of see where it hit that downtrend there, and it'll probably sell off and like right over here, probably in that 525, 30 area. It'll probably test this trend line and maybe it could bounce, but I don't know about Cresco. And then Cron is another one of the U.S. pot stocks, and you can see downtrend as well. Until we start seeing a lot of these pot stocks get out of these downtrends, because most all of them are in downtrends. The very few that are not in downtrends are Planet 13 and IIPR. Those are pretty much the only two that I know of that are on uptrends, which is why I like them. I don't think it's going to go away. What I think can happen though is because there is so many companies competing that have a small pool of financing, like they can't go to banks, so they have to get their financing from other places. You're going to see some that might be doing good go out of business all of a sudden. Different things like that, because of the new industry, with all that competition, it's a fight to who can get ahead. And there might be one company that's ahead for a little while, and then they might just go out of business for some crazy reason. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the pot stocks. Oops, let me take CLRB off. There we go. Okay. See, how's the overall market looking today? So the overall market, well, the market went up today. And still carrying on this uptrend. It's going a little sideways now in after hours, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. If you buy 10, you're spreading your risk around, but you just want to do all your due diligence before you pick 10 to try to go with. Like, you really want to see those numbers. You want to see little debt and large amounts of money. Large amounts of cash reserves and cash assets. See what kind of news we got on the SPY. See, CEO says China experiencing pretty solid V-shaped recovery. CDC proposes the prioritization of healthcare personnel, essential workers, other adults. Let's look into this. I can't look into it. That's all I got. That's all I got. It's just a headline. U.S. Justice Department requests coronavirus data from states. Ooh, so they're talking about the states that had thousands of deaths from the elderly nursing home residents. So that information will be interesting. Now, here's another thing that could cause the market to drop. I definitely think that this hurricane that is coming, that this Hurricane Laura, they're saying it's going to be a pretty bad hurricane. It's going to be hitting the south. There's a lot of oil down there, a lot of oil companies. So gas prices could go up. So if inflation goes up and gas prices go up, that could really weaken the economy. So we may be heading towards another dip in the market, or crash possibly. Like, I don't think it's going to be a huge crash, but maybe back in, let's see, maybe something like this, where it drops, where the entire market drops like a good big red candle or something like that. But I mean, the market is hitting new highs and stuff, recovering strong out of COVID. We're probably going to see some pullbacks soon. So let's see what else we got. France reports some new coronavirus cases. More coronavirus. Well, you might want to, I don't know, you might want to keep an eye on the oil stocks with this hurricane. I'm not an oil investor, so I really don't know what to tell you about the oil stocks, but I know gas prices usually go up when a hurricane hits. And I don't know if that helps the oil companies. I don't know if their stock prices go up. Maybe they do, but if their oil holding places are damaged because of the hurricane, then I could see the prices dropping. See, U.S. service members were injured after altercation with Russian forces. Oh, they got diagnosed with mild concussion-like symptoms, so they got in a fight, apparently. Some U.S. troops got in a fight with some Syria people. It's probably something like they were at a bar or something, and they started talking politics or something and started fighting each other. Because that's not... I think if it was a real altercation, they would have more than mild concussions. Especially fighting Russians, man. Russians fight bears and stuff. I'm just looking at some of these others. July durable goods report was positive. China launches 2 missiles in South China Sea and warning to the United States. Okay. That's another possible thing. There's a lot of possibilities where the market could have a drop. Hold on just a second. I'm losing my voice here. Okay. They do. They fight bears and stuff. Don't worry about it. You know it's facts. Where's Daniel B at? He can attest to that. DB, you're from near that area. Don't they fight bears? I've seen videos of them fighting bears. So, yeah, a war with China, that could be kind of bad for the stock market. It may be, that kind of brings me to an interesting idea. It may be something to look into military stocks. You know, companies that make parts for missiles and tanks and planes and all that. Just in case. Like, if it looks like we're actually going to go to war with China, then maybe, you know, investing in some of those military stocks might be a way to make some quick money. Daniel B's working at the strip club. That sounds about right. Let's see. What did I look at? Okay. So Gdx Gold Miner Etf. This is interesting. While we were talking about gold, the GDX trades largely in line with gold spot prices. So, let's see if I can find this. I'd like to look at this ETF. Is this it? Yeah, this is that ETF. And you can see it's actually not that high. But it is a little high. It's around 45. Which, if you're looking, and you can draw a line straight across there, you can kind of see that area where it hit on this candle is a resistance area. Look at this. Let me see how this reacted during COVID exactly. So this is the 1 year chart. It was slowly kind of just moving along. If the market's bullish and there's not really anything going on, then gold and silver and all that. Well, silver does better in a bull market, but gold will just kind of slowly climb. And then you can see gold did drop in March, but then it's been going up quite a bit since then. And the trend on this ETF was right here, and it's actually cracked that trend. So I don't know about that. I'd want to see what mining companies are a part of this ETF, but that is interesting. I'm gonna throw it on my gold list here, my list of gold stocks. Gdx. See, and this was a gold stock too. This is Newmont. Newmont is a mining company. And they pay dividends. And you can see that thing was way down there, down at 16 back in 2015-16. And then it's been going up since. Who's running numbers? Daniel B. He's running the numbers. But you can see even any EM hit a resistance line about the same time that GDX did. So that's probably, gold probably tested a resistance line there. Yeah, same thing right here with the ticker symbol gold. This is a Barrick Gold Corporation, but their ticker symbol is gold. Kind of the same thing. So gold possibly could have hit highs for the year, and that could be it. That could be the end of the gold run. But with this election, it's hard to say it because there's a lot of things kind of riding on this election that would pretty much be how traders decide to invest their money. But yeah, I'm out of topics now. So anything you guys want to talk about, we can talk about it. We'll go for another 15-20 minutes here if we can. This is the Traders Lounge. We're just chilling, relaxing, talking about stocks. What have you been looking at, One Life, for the old long-term portfolio? LODE. Let's take a look. Whoops. Huh. Oh, Comstock Mining. You see, that had a pretty big gap up. Let's see, LODE. I only had 1 million in volume today. You can see very barcodey. Had to take no trades today for you. QQQ, that's it. That's your long-term investment, is that. So you're pretty optimistic. You're pretty bullish. You think the market's going to keep going up. Yeah, I mean, that's. Tomorrow will be Trader Palooza. We'll see. I think tomorrow will be slow until the Feds make that announcement. Once the announcement is officially made, then we'll probably see the market pick back up. But it might not be next week till it picks back up. Traders may already be annoyed with this week. Do I have any videos on stop loss orders or OCO orders? I don't have any on OCO orders. I probably could eventually do a video on those different orders. But what I do, at least for stop losses, is I use the AT ladder. And so just like on NIO, let me see if I can make this AT ladder any bigger or not. I don't think I can. I can do this though. Well, anyway, you can put your stop losses in. What's the price at 20.02? So as long as you're on the sell side, on the ask side, below the $20 area or whatever the price is, it'll automatically be a stop loss order. So if you want a 5-cent stop loss and the stock is $20, then you just click right there. Whoops. It's trying to let me short. Here, I'll do this so I can, there we go. So you can see there, and you get a stop, sell, minus 100 in INO. And that stop loss will go in. Whoops. Yeah, that's what, the first 3 years of Trump, the market did really good until COVID. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. If he wins again, it probably will keep going up. So that I can see a case for being bullish. But without getting too deep into politics, some of the stuff Biden is talking about is not going to be really good for the economy, and at least in investors' eyes. Like the Green New Deal is supposed to be, I think, $92 trillion added to the deficit. That's not really the best idea, at least in my opinion. Usually if you're already in debt, you don't want to keep going into debt. And I think most investors would probably agree with that. So there's a possibility that if Biden wins, that the market, I've talked to a lot of investors, and a lot of them have said if Biden wins, they're probably going to pull their money out of the stock market for a while. So I don't know. I don't know if it's political bias or if they're thinking the same thing I am, where some of these policies and programs don't sound like the best ideas. Then, you kind of got to be wary of that. But we won't get all the way in there, into all those politics. I just think there's some policies of Biden's that probably won't be good. Like raising taxes is usually not a good thing. Last time you bought Q was 240. Well, look at you. You're doing real good on this end. 240 right back here. Yeah. So very nice. So yeah, you got it right there. That'll be support now. That's perfect. One life, that's why you are the best. You bought in at that break of resistance. That resistance is going to be new support. So pretty good entry. Yeah. Make money on the downturn, make money on the upturn. I mean, either way, not everybody's going to pull their money out of the markets, but it could be a slow market if things are a little different than, what Trump would do. I don't know. It's hard to say. This year has been a wild year, so I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty about what is going to happen in this country. So until we get a little bit more certainty and actually get over and past this election, and we have an idea of which way the country is kind of going. Hathaway buying gold mines. Yeah, I thought I saw somewhere that Warren Buffett and Berkshire was buying, they were buying gold and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I saw that, and that's another reason why I was kind of like, he started doing that way before the Feds announced the inflation. As rich as Warren Buffett is, he probably got a heads up on that inflation announcement that's coming out. So that may be why he's buying gold mining companies, or been buying gold mining companies. I don't know. I'm just speculating that he probably knew because it's Warren Buffett. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, it's very, very uncertain in the markets. You know, the closer we get to election, the markets will probably be more uncertain. But usually when the markets are uncertain, the mid caps and large caps, the penny stock world really catches fire. So if that's the case, we'll be doing good with the day trades. We'll see. We will see. Oh yeah, back to the OCO orders. That was the other thing I was going to talk about. I don't know a lot about the OCO orders. I think, let's see. There is other YouTube channels out there that does have videos on OCO orders and stuff. I mean, I'll eventually do one, but you could just throw it in YouTube. You know, put OCO orders think or swim, and it probably shows something. I'm trying to remember how to even get to them. Let's move that up. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so you gotta have template. That's why I didn't have. That's why I forgot, because I never have template on. So when you get it to an OCO, and see, this is where I can't really help you at because I've never tried one, so I don't know exactly how it works. So you got tick offset. Okay, you got percentage there. And then you actually have price. So you can offset the value, ticks, or price of how you want it. And then you can make it, there's trail and stop. So if you want a trailing stop, see, I'm not exactly sure how you would do it. So maybe like 5% or something. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how to set that up. I have to look into it more, and it's something I've not had time to do yet. It is something I do want to look into because the trailing stop, I think, is a good idea for some day trades where, you know, you get in a trade. And it's just right, like say NIO, where NIO just rode up the 9 all day. If you got that trailing stop, you can just set that trailing stop and just let it run all day. And as long as it keeps running and going up, your trailing stop won't get hit. So, you know, you can go out for an hour or two or whatever and go get lunch or do whatever you need to do. And you're good to go. You don't got to worry about your stop loss getting hit, because if the stock does start dropping, your trailing order will get hit. So they can be very useful. Okay. So if your problem is that you're selling 25% of your position and then the stock is dropping on you, you've got to read the price action to know when the stock is going to drop. So let me see if I can find a good example. Solo. So with Solo this morning in the live stream, and to understand this price action, and before the live stream I didn't have this channel drawn out. Let me remove that. But I had it drawn like, let's see. Oh yeah, it's right here. The downtrend was like this. So I saw it coming up. It broke over the downtrend. I got in. Actually, I got in right before the downtrend broke. And then it pushes up. I think I got in right here actually on this candle. Yeah, I got in on this candle. But right here, if you pay attention to the price action and the volume. So we know the price action is pushing up. We know the volume is pushing it up through this downtrend. But it gets hung up right here a little bit. So that 330 was some strong resistance because the pre-market high. I'm actually going to switch this to a 15-minute. No, I won't. I'll leave it here. The pre-market high was at 330, and this candle was at 330. So you know that's going to be tough resistance. So right there at that tough resistance, you want to sell most of it or half of it. And then you see it bounce off of that resistance, and you're looking at these candles, and it comes down, and if it hits the 9 right here and bounces off, then you're good to go. But if it cracks the 9, which it cracked right there a little bit, it had a chance to rebound, but it didn't, and it pushed back and cracked below the 9. So you'd want to get out right there to make sure that you got this profit. So like this might not be a big profit on this stock, but at least you were able to lock something in, and if it comes back down on you, get out before your entry. Like I wouldn't want to hold a stock longer than my entry if I've already made a profit. Like if I sell half up here and my entry was down at 320 and the stock starts cracking through 320, I would just get out, and that way I've locked in the profit. I don't risk giving back the profit and taking more of a loss. I don't know what Daniel B was saying, but Daniel B, don't Russians fight bears? But like if that's your problem, that you're hitting winning trades, but you're holding them too long and you're not making that profit, don't hold them any longer if they start breaking lower than what your entry was. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, getting at like Daniel B just said as well. And this is where I kind of messed up this morning, because I really thought it was going to at least test the pre-market high at 333, but it never even got there. But as soon as it didn't even get there and it couldn't break 330, I should have just locked my profit out and said, okay, it's a small profit, whatever, I'll take it. Instead, I tried to hold it, and I ended up holding, and it came back up, and then started coming back down again. And at that point, I was just holding to see if this channel would hold. And of course, my stop loss got hit. If you're finding winning trades, or most of your trades that you're in are winning trades in the beginning, and you end up holding them too long, just get out sooner. Just don't let it get past your entry. Like lock some in and then give it a chance to try to run. But a lot of times if a stock is going to move up, it's going to ride across this 9. And that's why I use the 9 EMA on my 5-minute chart. Because when they start going up, that's kind of a good indicator of like a support to use. It's like a moving support. So like Works this morning ripped up there. Say you got in here, down here at this break at 210 or whatever, and you hold it and sell some of it up at 240 because there's a little bit of resistance right there. It comes back down on this candle. The 9, it never dropped below the 9 EMA there. Like it hit the 9 EMA, bounced back up, and then continued to run. And you can see there, it hit the 9 and it didn't sell off, and it bounced back up a little second time, but it did crack below. And then here it cracked below again. So you can use the 9 and try to hold on to your profits to let it run a little bit more. And that's the only thing I really use it for. I don't really use it for anything else other than when I'm in a trade, I want to see it stay above the 9 EMA, because that means it's bullish. So, as long as it's above that 9 EMA, you can keep holding. Yeah, there you go, Doc Trader. Yeah, momentum trading is definitely not. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. DB is right about that. But the momentum trading strategies have been a little bit sketchy right now. DHPC, you think is a bet? Let me look at DHPC. I haven't even looked at DHPC. DPHC. I went dyslexic for a minute. Yeah, DHPC looks all right. It's had a pretty good. Let's remove that. Pretty good moves here in the last couple of weeks. Nice uptrend started on this. This is the electric truck maker. Yeah, so I mean it's an interesting one. Right now it's kind of high up, kind of gapped up over that that $15 area today. I like to see the numbers, but you're comparing it to Solo. So Solo's been out a little bit longer than DHPC. But Solo has been on an uptrend. And Solo did run all the way up to $6. It's pulling back now. And in the Solo stock review video, I literally said this exact thing. I said, it is on this trend line. In a few weeks or whatever, it'll probably come back down to this trend line and bounce off of it. And sure enough, it did. So it bounced off of that trend line. And you can see today, you know, it popped up some. It's in this channel. And if it keeps, if it breaks out of this channel, it's probably going to keep moving up. But comparing the two, you can't really compare these two because Electromechanica, their cars are for certain purposes for non-commercial people. And DPHC is for commercial, I think. Because in their electric trucks, aren't they making electric trucks for like Amazon and stuff like that? The Tesla split. Yeah, I think it's Monday, isn't it? In the Tesla split Monday? Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I wouldn't really compare DPHC to Solo. Now, DPHC probably will be more explosive than Solo, although Solo is pretty low float. What is DPHC? DPHC is pretty low float as well. Actually, it's really low float. Yeah, so DPHC will definitely be more explosive. It's lower float, and then when you have them trying to make trucks or vans or whatever for major companies, their revenues are probably going to be a whole lot higher than Solo's because Solo is not producing commercial vehicles. They're producing retail vehicles. So it's kind of two different things. Both are EV, but two different types of products. So DPHC possibly could be, you know, a bigger money winner. But Solo, I like the Roadster. It's, you know, Solo's one of those ones where I think the company has a lot of potential, but they haven't sold a product yet. And that's why in the Solo review video, I said I want to see their sales before, you know, I would really put some money into Solo. I'll day trade it because of the low float, but until they actually have sales, then it's pretty risky. DB, not everything is equivalent to the Tulip Mania story. EV is not a Tulip Mania thing. We are going to switch over to electronic cars at some point. Like, Tesla has already proven that EV cars have a place in the marketplace. Whether Solo or not is going to be in that marketplace in 2 years, I don't know. But that's why I'm saying wait till they have sales, and then once they have some sales, you can make a better decision on this company. But right now, they are in an uptrend. That's one of the cars. They have 3 cars, DB. I sent you the 3 cars. You've seen the 3 cars. That's the 3 cars they're going to start with. If Solo tries to go the Porsche or McLaren or Lambo route in EV, so luxury EV cars, sport cars, then they might stick around for a while. That's hard to say. And I think that's what they're kind of going. I think they're using the Solo, the little red, weird little car that's only got 3 wheels. I think they're using it to make some money so they can fund their other cars, which are going to be they're going to be the Sportster and the Roadster. So they could be one of those type of companies. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? It's hard to say. But yeah, there's definitely not much room in the actual Solo, the little red car. So, alright guys, we'll give the stream about 8 more minutes. Anything anybody watching for tomorrow? I didn't really see anything in any of these gainer lists. Let's see. Let's check this thing. This had a big rip. I didn't see this earlier. This had a big rip in the afternoon. Why would that go up because of a hurricane? What is this company? Pretty low float. But it's saying polar powered Generac move higher after lore upgrade to catapult. What is this company? Why would that's something to look at? Why, if these stocks are going to get, let's see, I'm trying to see what this company is. You know what? Let's just look it up. What's the name of this company? Polar Power. Okay. I'm thinking maybe this is like a generator company. Yeah, it is. Hybrid solar energy, temporary power, backup generators, prime power systems. Okay, so this stock might keep seeing a boost with this hurricane. So I'm actually going to put this on the watch list. Because generators, if that hurricane comes through and wrecks the South, and see what's Generac's ticker symbol? Where'd that go? Let's see. Generac. What is the ticker symbol? Let me see if I can find it. But they will need generators to keep power on. Generac Holdings. So this is a lot more expensive. But yeah, you can see climbing up. So I'm not going to day trade that. But Pola, getting the attention it did. Might keep an eye on it tomorrow. Yeah, that's true. I mean, EV's a new industry too. It's like marijuana. There's going to be risk with every company. So AESE. Let's take a look at AESE. But I think Pola might be where it's at tomorrow. We'll see. But if it's another slow morning, God, I got lines all over this thing. If it's another slow morning, it could be possible. You're looking at it for the continuation. Yeah, we got, let's see. Got a little downtrend there. If it can break over that 180, and it's like right there at that downtrend, yeah, that possibly could move. So that's a good, interesting looking one to look at. Pola had 17 million volume. That's not a lot of volume. So yeah, so far I think I'm gonna keep an eye on Solo, Polo, and AESE, and we'll see what else happens tomorrow. Yeah, let's see if it does break that 180. Yeah, it's gonna run into that 50-day at $2, and then the 100-day at 221. That's it's a possibility. This Pola had a big spike a while back too. Look at this run from $1.86 to $4.96. This could get some investor attention. My only problem, let's see, 214. It's opening up right below 3 indicators, but if it can blow through those indicators, which it did today, it tried today, then it's probably open skies from there. Yeah, let's see. 266 would be some resistance. Right about where it hit today. Interesting. You like plug for tomorrow? Yeah, that's interesting. Develops Progen fuel cells for robotics and drone applications. That's definitely interesting. For maybe a possible long-term investment, but right now it's up really high. BLNK. Yeah, EV stock. Yeah, EV, BLNK at that EV. Yeah, Plug's doing very well. Yeah, both of those are interesting. I don't know about for day trades tomorrow. Are you talking about for long term or day trades? I mean, if BLNK could come up and break this downtrend, possibly. Either or. F-cell. We'll take a look at F-cell and then I'm going to call it a day. Fuel cell energy. Yeah, you got a nice clean trend line on this. Kind of do it more. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, pretty good trend line there. Yes, I am off Friday and Monday. I will be going up north, so there will not be a stream Friday or Monday. So I will try to. So tomorrow I'll definitely be looking to try to take a trade. I'm really interested in POLA tomorrow. You can see there's a little bit of odd buying volume. You can't really see it. But there's not a lot of selling volume, and there's been a little bit more buying than selling here in after hours. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's kind of interesting. We'll see tomorrow morning. We'll see what all transpires with this Fed announcement and all that. Polar, because it's a generator stock. It says right up here, Polar and Generac move higher after Hurricane Laura upgraded to Category 4. So if a bunch of the southern states get wrecked by this Category 4 hurricane, all the power will be out. Companies will have to get generators and all that stuff. Pola sells generators and all that. They could see a significant increase in revenues. And if hype is starting to build up around these type of stocks because of this hurricane, you know how it goes with J trading. If this had 17 million in volume today off of the hurricane getting upgraded, if it continues to get worse, we could see more people try to flood into this because of that hurricane. We'll see. Like, I'm not saying for sure, but I'm saying it's a good point. It's a good thing to keep an eye on. Yeah, EXRS is in a pretty bad downtrend. I don't even know where that little thing is there. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Got it out of there. Alright, so we will see what tomorrow brings. FLDM. I saw this earlier today, and it did get a big spike back here. But it's just kind of it's just going sideways at the moment. I don't know nothing about this Fludgem, but you can see big downtrend on this, and it's coming up and it's right at that downtrend. So I mean, there's a lot of resistance. A lot of resistance. You've got the downtrend resistance, and then you got this prior support that became resistance here, and here, and now it's hitting it again. It could break out of that. If it breaks out of it, then it'll probably keep moving. But if it gets rejected tomorrow, if it starts dropping, lower than $11, then it's probably going to have a pullback again. And that's just looking at the chart, a little bit that I can tell you, but You said the spike is deadly? I mean, it's a pretty massive spike, and then, you know, sold off pretty hard after that. I mean, it has been rebounding, but like I said, it's running into some really tough resistance right now. So that resistance is going to be an issue. I'd be nervous about it tomorrow if it doesn't break. If it doesn't break over that resistance and get up in this 13-14 area, it very easily could pull back, and then you might have to have a whole nother U shape like this, because this is a nice little U shape here. And if in fact actually it could possibly hit that resistance and come back down about halfway to right here in this 565 area, and then maybe make a cup and handle, make the handle here before it breaks out. But I mean, it's still kind of too early to say that. But the fact it got held up there is a little, it's interesting. I don't know. But yeah, you're running into a lot of serious resistance on where it's at the moment. But all right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. Appreciate everybody who joined the first Traders Saloon live stream. We'll try to do this every week, maybe multiple times a week. Just give me a couple weeks to kind of figure out the best timing to do it. I'll try to keep it around the same time, maybe the same day. I don't know, but it's new, so we'll get there. We'll figure it out. We will be back in the morning for some live day trading. If you haven't joined any of those, I start at market open, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and we usually run till about 11 Eastern, something like that. So, you guys have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. Until in the morning.